Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Tom. Yeah, good, cool. All right, so I just had my microphone on mute because I just had the stream is up. I can't go through it because I've got it. The stream is up now, so we'll kind of just have to wing it a little bit if that's all right. Yeah, just same. Yeah, so this time we're on time. The stream is up. It's actually working. I've actually got my shit together, so which is a lot better. How you going anyway? Oh, what's wrong? Okay. No good. Alright, cool, man. I don't think that will be coming through the microphone. I'm not too sure. I guess I'll just mute it. Yeah, it is. Fuck. Yeah. Hello and welcome everyone. This is season 2, round 6 of Race on Oz. This is the PC League. My name is Nick Kramer and I'm joined once again by Tom. Tom, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to be here. Lovely to have some more ruse action coming live for you.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Suzuka's quite a favourite of mine, so love any time that I can get a chance to commentate around this track. So looking forward to tonight. So we'll be underway, not too far away now, but just getting this one sorted out before we get underway. So let's take a look at the calendar. So we are in round 6. Last week was Mazzano, the 100-minute enduro. Next week we're in Spa, but this week it is round 6 of Suzuka. We're on the second half of the season now, so starting to get towards the business end of things. Having a look at the championship standings as well. So Mitch Hobbs is the new championship leader there on 337 points. Andrew O'Hara, who was missing last week, he's there in second on 332. And Sean Madison up there in P3 on 309. You got Paul Russell in 4th, Philippa Bakita in 5th, then Mitchell Weston 6th, 7th is Matt Frost, Peter Wall is 8th, 9th is Lando Latanzio, and rounding out the top 10 is just good old Mr. Solid, Daniel Hemi Bateman, and a new championship leader this round, Tom.
Yeah, after a great performance last week out in our 100-minute race at Mazzano, bumps himself up into P1, Mitch Hobbs, and Sean Madison jumps himself up there as well, but nice and tight at the top. I think that's only 5 points between Mitch and Andy, and then further only 12 points back to Sean, or 32. I can't quite tell whether it's a 3-0-0 or there's a 3-2-0, but either way, nice and tight at the top. Could be some solid points haul coming this week for those drivers. Yep.
So we'll have a look at that tonight. Looking at this one here is for the AM standings. So we're looking at James Mack. He is leading the standings there on 151 points. You've got Dean Karki there on 141, tied with Herbertron in P3 on 141 in the Ferrari. Then you got Mark Hurley, Stu Parsons, Harley Scotland, Case Parsons, so the Parsons brothers there, 5th and 7th. Simone Cocco, Phil Cryotheus, I always get that one mixed up. And then Tom Parsons there in P10. Lots of Parsons in there, but still competitive there in the AM standings at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think we should note that Cryotheus, yes, he's an AM driver. It might come up on our coverage tonight that he's a silver or pro driver, but he's actually an AM driver. So keep that in mind for that. But yeah, he had a class win last week. Even with a drive-through penalty, he still managed to come back through and take the class win.
All right, and then having a look at the silver standings as well. So it's Nando Latanzio sitting there in P1 on 168 points. Peter Wall there on 161. Daniel Heavy Bateman there on 161 as well. So that's the top 3. Ray Haggis, he didn't race last week there in P4 on 118. And then 5th is Stephen Haycock on 105. Patrick Oliver, 97 points there in 6th. 7th is Jonathan Masafto on 86. Then Anthony Cessna, Wally Masterson, and Neil Fakney as well there, rounding out the top 10. But still nice and close there at the top 3, especially Peter Wall and Daniel Hemi Bateman duking it out at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely nice and close at the top of our silver class. Patrick Oliver last week had a bit of an unfortunate crash at the back end of the back end of Sector 1 at Mazzano. Ran over some curbs and unfortunately put himself right back down the field with a little penalty afterwards. So penalty was applied post the checkered flag for not completing his pit stop time, but Either way, that won't be so much of an issue tonight, but I'll be watching out for Paddy to try and come back through the field.
All right, we'll see what he can do this evening. Let's have a look at the circuit, though. Suzuka, it is. It's been around for quite a long time, this track. It's 5.8 kilometres. It's 18 turns in total. It's got a nice mix of fast sections, but then the twisty turns of the curves through the centre S, as they like to call it, through this first sector there, the end Dunlop curve, turn 7, and then into turn 7, then into the two Degners as well, where hitting the curbs pretty hard there is kind of the optimal line. Making your way into the hairpin, has a bit of a tricky braking zone there for the hairpin, then into spoon curve as well. I'll just bring that back up again. Sorry about that. Hang on a second. Sorry, there we go. And then, hang on a second. Yeah, there we go. Spoon curve, and you got the backstretch into the 130R as well. So we'll see how the drivers tackle that this evening. Whether it'll be, I don't think anyone will be able to take it flat out. It's interesting conditions tonight. It's quite hot, so I'm not too sure if anyone's going to be able to take that flat out tonight. But we'll see we'll see if anyone's committed enough to do it this evening.
Yeah, 130R is one of the best spots to drive any car, let alone a GT3 car through there. It's all about being committed. But yeah, certainly the run through Dunlop into the Degners will be one spot to watch out for either some little accidents or cars running wide. And through the S's, it's really difficult to stay on one line. So you really got to focus on hitting your marks through there and making the most of the run through the corners. You're only on full throttle for a little bit at the time throughout from the entry to the exit of Dunlop. So it's a difficult one, but otherwise a lovely track to drive. Difficult to get right the first time, but the more you lap it comes back to you.
Yeah, it's great fun. All right, shouldn't be too far away at the moment. It says there's still a bit of time left in practice. I'm not too sure if I've got the start times right. Usually it's a kickoff at 8:30, I believe. I'm not too sure for 15-minute qualifying, but it's still plenty of time left in practice, so I'm not too sure if they're just going to end the server shortly. I can double check on that though, but that pretty much does us for the pre-race. And we should hopefully be getting this one underway relatively shortly. I have gone early. Alright. So, what we might do is might just leave it on practice for now. Not too sure. We'll just put it on the practice. I've gone a little bit early here, unfortunately. And where are we? Yeah, so that's, as you can see, 15 minutes. So we've still got a little bit of time left before this one starts. And we'll come back on air once practice is finished for qualifying in about 15 minutes.
with all you can.
Alright, we are back, everyone. So, thanks for sticking with us. Apologies about that. We
I
are...
don't think you need to apologise at all. I think that was good to just sit and watch have people watch a bit of practice and see some interesting moments nonetheless.
We had a little bit of weather there at the end as well.
Which hopefully isn't a sign of things to come for the night, but a little bit of mixed strategies. We saw at Snetterton certainly mixed up the grid a fair bit and made for a bit of action on that one.
Yeah, well, I think the server settings were for it to... there was a possibility of rain, so we'll see if that reappears. But yeah, track temperatures 30 degrees, 35 degrees, air temperature 35. So very warm out there. We'll see how they handle those conditions. So cars making their way out on track now. Philippa Bakita was keen to get out there. She was the first one to make her way out onto the circuit. Andrew O'Hara is back this week as well. So we'll see how he fares after a week off as cars all filtering out now. So plenty of action on the track. Which car do you want to do an on-board lap with this week, Tom?
Give me 5 minutes.
Yep.
And we'll just watch a bit of this quali, and then we'll get a lap up.
Beautiful. All right. In the meantime, we'll just wait for them all to start making their way around. This is Bruno Gallo in the McLaren there. Nicely presented McLaren. Practice times, I was looking earlier on, there were low 159s. That was in practice though, so we'll see if they can replicate those times in quali as well. I think it's going to be Philippa will be the first one to settle up. She's coming through the very unique turn 1 there, double apex right-hander. Sun shining bright, so track temperature 35 degrees, air temperature 30. Saw a little bit in the chat there that people were just wondering what is happening with the temperatures, but that's what we have right now. 5:02 p.m. in game, so we should get some nice shots as well as she makes her way through Degner 1. Now Degner 2 under the bridge. Another unique characteristics of this circuit. Also, let us know if the cars need to be turned up as well. I can also do that for you too. So just let us know in the chat. We'll be happy to do so. She makes her way towards Spoon Curve. Easy to just lose the back end of the car through here. Need a little bit of patience on the throttle. And we'll make our way along the back straight now towards the infamous 130R. Was watching her in practice as well. Just a slight lift through there seemed to be the go for her. She's about to set a lap here. And there we go. So 2-minute flat straight out the out the box there. On it straight away. Mitchell Weston having some difficulty there. This is Peter Wall. So he's down on his best time. Have a look at someone else's up there. Matt Frost, the 666. He's just starting his lap. He's already up. Andy O'Hara making his way through Dagna 1 now. So full circuit. Plenty of cars out there right now, but top of the times is Philippa Bakita with a 2-minute flat. Andy O'Hara with a 2-minute 7. Rowdy Clayton right behind him. So he's qualifying tonight. He didn't qualify last week. Cut a swathe through the field though. Had a late race penalty, so that kind of ruined his charge towards the end there. Still was a top 5 finish for him. So good effort nonetheless, but it was a little bit of a case of what could have been. See if we can pick him up shortly, but we'll stick with Matt Frost for now. Got a little bit of traffic there. Getting a little bit of a tow though, maybe. Just through the 130R. This track will be suited to the Mercedes engine. That low torque range. There he goes, gets past. Andrew O'Hara goes top of the times. What about Rowdy Clayton? Currently P5 right now. He's up on his best time. Makes his way down the hill towards the line. Trying to get a nice little slipstream from the Audi. Rowdy with a 2-minute 2 there, so nice time from him. What about Paul Russell now? I think he's just starting lap. He's just coming up through Dunlop. There's a bit of a squirrely Mercedes just in front of him. Tricky braking zone here as well for the hairpin turn. Sun might be in their eyes a little bit there, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. Making his way along the back straight, but right now Andrew O'Hara, Philippa Bakita, Mitch Hobbs, Sean Madison and Rowdy Clayton. That's your top 5. On board with Paul Russell. He's down on his best time.
Might stay on board with Paul here whilst he does a lap, as long as he starts one. Comes through turn 1 here, down in the 2nd gear. 3rd on exit. Up to 4th. Just feathers the throttle a bit through first part of these centre S's. Gets it out nice and wide to the left. And keeps the car hugged to the left. Back to the right. Car tugged across the inside. To the middle of the track. He's holding 3rd gear and then gets on the throttle. Coming up to Dagna 1 and Dagna 2 here. Then use a whole lot of that inside curve, lots of the outside curve. This car across the inside of Dagna 2. A little bit of a correction there as he pulls 3rd and then 4th into this difficult corner here. Manages to keep it flat all the way down to 1st. Might be a little bit deep. I think that's affected his time too much. Fast sweeper up to Dunlop here. Brakes nice and late, keeps car in 3rd, playing with the throttle a bit. Nice and smooth on the exit. Doesn't use too much of that exit curb. 4th, 5th now. Guys going through the gears. This car pinned in 5th, then goes to 6th, nice and late. This car in his a little bit of that inside curb, not so much on the exit. Currently just about 2/10 up on his best time. Runs over the inside curb. The first part of the chicane. His car pinned to the right. Tries a straight line, right down to the line. He improves his time, but doesn't improve his position.
Yeah,
Take a bit over 2/10 out of his best time. Will stay in 9th place, 1.7 seconds off the lead.
So right now, Andrew O'Hara at 1:59.3 is his best time, and Philippa Bakita there in P2. Just trying to bring up the leaderboard there, trying to get the number 1 car. Not yeah, don't know what's not showing number 1. We'll try and work that out though for you as we watch Neil finish his.
Yeah, you might be with Neil here, so middle of the timing board. I reckon changed like Philippa. It might be might change for you, but
there we go. That makes sense. Thank you. Well, we'll duck over to Philippa, who's currently on a lap right now. She's up on her best time, making her way through the center S's. It's a tough sequence of corners. These ones here. This is Dunlop. Trying to keep a nice tight line. And then, yeah, hit that curve nice and hard. And as you pointed out, Tom, just using the outside of the track there. Using everything available to her. And, yeah, just a tight hairpin. Hard to spot your braking marker there. Still up on her best time right now. Not long left in the session. Only 2 minutes remaining in this quali. This is round 6 of Race on Oz PC League. Let's see. She's lost a little bit of time through there, so just lost out through Spoon. Still got a little bit of time left though. Still Andrew O'Hara leads all cars right now. Rowdy Clayton, he's up on his best time, so we'll jump on board with him. We'll just watch the end of Philippa's lap. I don't think she's going to improve from here. No, she won't. So she'll remain in P2. Let's have a look how Rowdy's going. Just coming out of the hairpin now. Got a couple of cars up ahead of him. So hopefully that doesn't come into play. Still up on his best time though. Sean Madison just ahead of him is also in P4. Looks like Philippa's gone for another run as well. We get a nice little tow from Parsons here. Moves out of the way through the 130R. Hard on the brakes for the Casio Triangle. Still up on his best time, so currently P5. That's where he does remain, so that's where he'll stay for now. Sean Madison was on a nice lap here, coming up the back straight. So less than 20 seconds left in this qualifying session. He's currently in P5, Rowdy Clayton in 4th. He'll make his way to the chicane. on 000. I reckon he might have overshot the chicane there, lost a little bit of time there, so he's not going to improve. No, he's just cruising to the line, so no good for him there. So he's in P5 right now, just here with Art Vanderlei. Castrol liveried car, the Honda, home of Honda. So we've gone 000. We're just on the wait time now. We'll ride with Art for the remainder of this lap. He is up on his best time, but right now it's Andrew O'Hara who's on pole position. Philippa Bakita and Mitch Hobbs are all in the pit, so it doesn't look like the top three are likely to change. Rowdy Clayton is out there now. He is up on his best time, so we'll jump on board with him shortly. Can Art improve on his time? It's a long trip to the line. No, he doesn't. Here's Rowdy. No, that gives an end to his session. Bruno Gallo, one of the few remaining cars out there in the McLaren. He's currently P6. He's up on his best time of a 2-minute .565. Yeah, navigates the chicane nicely. We'll see if he improves. No. P6. So that's as good as it's going to get. So there is our qualifying results. Andrew O'Hara is back. P1, Philippa Bakita, P2, Mitch Hobbs in third, Rowdy Clayton fourth, and Sean Madison. That's your top five. Bruno Gallo on screen. James Pierre-Reid, we didn't see much of him, but that's a nice effort from him. Matt Frost, Paul Russell, and Patrick Oliver. That's our top 10. That wasn't a bad little qualifying session there once it got going, Tom.
No, it certainly wasn't. It was a nice little battle between Philippa and Andy. Philippa, I think, just had a moment coming through the triangle and then through the last corner that undid her best lap time. But hopefully that was just a little bit of an error on her behalf and not some hardware issue. Otherwise, we could be in for a less exciting battle between the 51 and the 326. But we're hoping that will be an enthralling battle throughout the race. Paddy Oliver sitting in P10 as lead of the silver class, and then down in 20th, Dean Karki with that 503 Mercedes, 3.4 off the lead. So quite a big gap between a lot of cars. Not as close as what it was, let's say, for Misano between the top and the bottom, but yeah, still an enthralling one, to say the least. Yeah,
there were pretty big gaps there on the grid, but hopefully racing's a lot closer. You usually get some pretty decent racing at this track. There's plenty of overtaking opportunities as well. 60 minutes tonight, so we're back to the sprint format from the enduro format from last week at Misano, so something these guys will be a little bit familiar with. But yeah, Andy O'Hara and Philippa haven't been here for at least last week, so they're back at the front. So, and Rowdy Clayton as well. Last week didn't manage to qualify. This week though, he definitely made sure of it, and he's put himself on the second row there. So good to see him right up there. To be interesting to see how he goes, starting a lot higher than what he did last week, which was last. So not far away from getting this one started. Will we see some rain as well? Possibly. We saw some rain at the end of practice. Track temperatures were still significantly warm. 35 degrees track temperature, air temperature of 30 degrees. So we'll see if that stays the same for the race, which we're only 90 seconds away from setting up on the formation lap. And yeah, hopefully we've got a good one in store for us on this Monday evening. Did you watch the Grand Prix last night, Tom?
I did. It was interesting with the track limits. I thought there were quite a lot of them, but it was weird because apart from policing and equality, which they're pretty good at, I haven't seen that much action for track limit penalties that consistently, or black and white flags. I can't remember a race that I've seen where there's been that many black and white flags. That was quite
excessive.
Quite impressive. So look, as long as they're consistent when we go to our next race in France, I believe.
Yep.
Then I won't be as upset. But if they're not as consistent, then I don't know. Will be interesting.
Well, we saw track limits come into the race last week at Misano, which is quite notorious. Probably. Yeah. So I don't think we'll see anything like that this evening, though. We shouldn't not here.
Yeah, I think the two spots that we'll probably see it are at Dunlop and 130R. They're the two probably most committed corners in terms of track limits. You don't really get a gain by running over the chicane that much at the Cassia Triangle. The other spot maybe is the Degners, but other than that, there's not so much a track limits debate here. I don't think because of all the corners and how committed you are to one line. Like even through the first corner, if you're running that wide, you're probably not getting the most out of your lap time. You're becoming that wide on entry, you're going to pick up track limits. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'd expect it not to be that much of an issue.
Nah, wouldn't think so tonight, but stranger things have happened, and yeah, definitely the places that you pointed out there. If it is going to happen, that will be where it does. So they're just getting underway. So track temperature 36 degrees, air temperature is 30 degrees. The track's at optimum. Wind is 3 kilometres going west. So we'll see if that brings with it any weather like we saw at the end of practice. Fingers crossed it doesn't. We want to see a good competitive race, but a little bit of rain is always nice to spice things up. This man here went pretty good last week, James Pierre-Reid. So I think he'll be hoping for a repeat performance. He'll have Paul Russell to contend with as well early on, down there in P9 in that very nicely turned out Porsche of his. And yeah, not too many sort of bottlenecks, if you like, this circuit, where there's probably turn one, if anything. Usually it's a pretty orderly fashion on the first lap. So we saw the Pan Am race yesterday on the Ruse YouTube channel. It was all really good. There was no contact, no car-to-car contact for the entire race, which was fantastic to see. So we'll see if there's a repeat of that tonight, as we're just having a look at Patrick Oliver in that Dragon Ball Z Audi of his. Very distinctive livery. As they're all just filtering their way towards Spoon Curve. And yeah, a big field of cars tonight, 32 in total. Having a look here at Neil Fakeney. Down there in 14th is where he qualified. Stephen Haycock down there as well. Dean Karki was the fastest of the AM drivers as well in the Mercedes. Has quite an affinity with the Merc as well. I think that's his definite weapon of choice. Making their way through the 130R now, so they're going to start to get into formation, as you can see at the front there, and we're going to get this one going. So looking very, very tidy right now. Alright, here we go. Looks good enough. We'll get the signal very, very shortly, and we're going to get round 6 of season 2 of the PC League on Race on Oz. It's a long way to the line. There it is, though.
Green light.
Here we go. We've got the green light. Andrew O'Hara got a decent start there too. Mitch Hobbs just up the inside of Philippa Bakita. Oh, they make a little bit of contact there into turn 1. No harm, no foul as they all filter through.
There's about 8 cars involved in a bit of a pile-up at turn 1. Looks to be like there's a Bentley involved. There's a Mercedes and McLaren there, slowly coming back through the field. But it looked as if there was a Bentley that had gone
just
across.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's was that Haggis in there as well. I think. Yeah, there's a few cars involved. So my apologies. That definitely wasn't Haggis in there. But Andrew O'Hara, he's got the jump on them, and looks like Mitch Hobbs has been able to take Philippa Bakita for position. So he's already moved up a spot into P2. So he's got that Audi humming straight away. But Andrew O'Hara already creating a little bit of a gap for himself from the pack. Sean Madison in the hunt there as well, and Rowdy Clayton in P5. Here goes Philippa. She gets a good run out of Spoon Curve. It's going to be a drag race up the back straight. 2 into 1 doesn't go at the 130R, so something's got to give here. Philippa pulls into the draft. Smart move. And they go through there without any dramas. There's Rowdy closing up under brakes. But Andrew O'Hara has made a nice start. He's already put a little bit of a gap on everyone. But yeah, relatively clean start. We had a little bit of incident at the at turn 1 there, but looks like everyone's managed to filter through without any dramas the rest of the way. So we've got this one underway.
Mitch Weston's had a bit of contact somewhere, and he's ducking into the pits from the back of the grid with a lot of damage on his car. So he will tour the pit lane.
See if we can pick up what happened. Oh no, that's happened long before. Oh, then he's had a little bit of difficulty actually getting into the pit lane there. So no good.
Yeah, I was just having a look at what happened to that first corner, and it looked like Kaki had ducked maybe a little bit too aggressively across the right, from the left to the right hand side of the track. Had a bit of a gap, but was too aggressive and ended up on the grass on the inside, and basically 10-pin bowled a lot of cars through. And he's just had more contact with the 176, so just looked like he got a nose, and then he's had another bit of an error and has run off. So
let's see if we can have a look on the replay what happened. Oh, that's Parsons. They've made contact there. That looked like it was coming into Degner 1. Oh, there he goes. He's just scraping along the side of the fence there. So no good for our AM class leader.
Lost him. I think he's just rage quit.
He's done. Oh, it's disappointing. But right now, it's Andrew O'Hara from Mitch Hobbs, Philippa Bakita, Sean Madison and Rowdy Clayton. That's your top 5. Bruno Gallo, James Pierre-Reid, Matt Frost, Paul Russell and Art Vanderlei. That rounds out your top 10. As we're having a look at Philippa Bakita chasing down Mitch Hobbs here. Track temperature's gone up a degree, 36 degrees now. Air temperature's still 30. This wouldn't be a position you really want to be in, would you? Having Philippa Bakita right behind you. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, certainly not what I'd prefer, but yeah, still seems to be Mitch can probably keep her behind for a little bit longer, but that's really just going to benefit Andy O'Hara to just keep pulling away from the field. Andy's going to lap Wheezy there, so nothing Wheezy could do about it with the damage, unfortunately. But he's now got a nice repaired car, so he's a lap down. He'll have to fight back through the field.
Yeah.
At least he's done his mandatory pit stop now, so he can now race for 54 minutes without incident. Doesn't look like there's any rain on the forecast. 30 minutes. Looks still cloudy, overcast, so the only disadvantage is that the track temp is up at 36 degrees, and that is quite toasty.
That's extremely warm.
But that's not ideal for looking after these Pirelli tyres for any of the drivers. Especially, it wouldn't have been much of an issue on PC a couple of years ago. They hadn't done any time model updates, and the time model wasn't perfect. But now, a bunch of time model updates, it's ended up that tyres are more susceptible to heating and cooling cycles. They've used the tyres especially.
Well, I think it's just testament to how realistic how far these games have come in terms of replicating real life conditions and challenges. And speaking of challenges, James Pierre-Reid has got one on his hands right now with Matt Frost in the Mercedes chasing him down. They're down in 7th and 8th right now. Making their way through the Center S's. Andy O'Hara, though, he's just skipped away 4.4 seconds. I wonder if Mitchell Hobbs, something's happened to him. No, it's the gap really extended out there. I'm not too sure. Maybe I was looking at the wrong thing there. But Philippa Bakita, she's all over the back of Mitch Hobbs now. So his mirrors are just full of that McLaren.
R8 GE Sports McLaren. Of course, if you didn't know, Philippa is signed to Martin Grosjean's esports team and drives a fair bit in iRacing and ACC, especially in SRO. Which, to be fair, I think 4 of our top 5 all run in SRO esports. Philippa very committed through there, like trying to get the move done. Was off track. Mitch is hanging around the outside though. A bit of contact. Philippa has to go wide. So we invite Sean Madison through. Philippa might come under attack here from Bruno Gallo behind as well. Philippa looks for a move. Rowdy covers really late. It's really aggressive defending here. And this pack just tightens up a little bit more, but Sean Madison's managed to come through and take that position after all of that.
I was going to say he's been the biggest winner out of that, hasn't he? They're all scrapping amongst themselves. Philippa's just dropped behind Rowdy Clayton. She's got Bruno Gallo behind her now as well. So bit of a tricky start for her so far, but a long way to go in this one. So don't count her out at all. Let's have a quick look at the position deltas. So Sean Madison, he's up 3 spots. Matt Frost up 1. Who else? Peter Wall, he's up 2. Carlos Dominiak up 5. And Nando Latenzio up 12 spots into P20. So some movers and shakers there. Unfortunately, Philippa Bakita's lost 3 spots. Aaron Dennis has lost 3. And Anthony Cesana He's lost a couple as well. So some comings and goings there to start this one. But it's, yeah, Andrew O'Hara just skipping away. Over 10 seconds the lead was there for a moment. So he's not finding the conditions tricky at all. He's finding them quite to his liking. As we see Rowdy make a nice move. Oh, he ran deep under brakes then, so...
That was miles deep. I don't know what happened then, whether he just missed his braking mark or whatever, but he just went straight past Mitch Hobbs and almost collected Sean Madison there, so...
It was a big lunge.
Very big lunge.
Mitch Hobbs once again finds himself in a very, very familiar position. He's got that McLaren right on his rear bumper there. So far holding up all right. And we've gone 10 minutes already, so it's been a pretty action-packed 10 minutes. As Philippa just giving Mitch a little bit of the hurry up. A little bit of Morse code just to let him know he's right. She's right there. So go under the bridge out of Degner 2. But Field seems to have sort of just settled down into a rhythm now. These are the closest two cars on the circuit. You got Rowdy, he's back on this little group of cars here. There's the lapped car of Mitchell Weston. Had that incident at the beginning of the race. So just getting himself out of the way. Nice work by him.
Tell you what, Nando might be in a bit of a battle here down in P18 with Dennis Sassana and Latanzio all together nice and close. That's the other closest battle we've got on circuit at the moment. Sana's just dropped off the back of Dennis, so might be one to keep our eye on back down there.
Just keep our eye on this for the time being. I think that was that someone with Rowdy Clayton? Was that Bruno Gallo? Just scrapping it out with him right now.
Yeah, the gap was at 2/10 at the start of the lap, so
yeah,
sounds about right. Wheezy just gets out of the way there. Nicely done.
He'd be doing that through gritted teeth. He'd be ruining his little incident at the beginning of the race. He would have loved to have been able to scrap it out with these guys here, but unfortunate for him. So Mitch Hobbs doing a good job here to keep Philippa behind him. Might be a case of just how long he can do that for, though. She has a little look up the inside into the hairpin. Thinks better of it. But this is the closest battle on track. We've got a little bit of action going down in P15, which we might just have a quick look at here. This is Peter Wall. He's got Jonathan Asafto and Neil Fakeney as well for company. These guys all scrapping it out right now, going through Spoon. Ooh, was that a car that just clipped the dirt a little bit? See if Haycock can get a run on him here. Just follows nicely. Looks like he lost a little bit of time to him, so no opportunity at the chicane.
Philippa seems to have got a run on Hobbsy here. They're going to go side by side through the start of the S's here. Tucks back in behind though, but got a good exit out of the first turn. Another good exit here. Right on the back, a little bit of contact. She backs out of it, but that brings Bruno Gallo in.
Took his opportunity.
Now we're back up to a 4-car battle.
This is great stuff. This is right at the front of the field. This is for 4th, 5th and 6th. And Rowdy's in there as well, and Mitchell Weston's got the best seat in the house right now, just having a look at these guys scrapping it out in front of him. So give Mitch Hobbs a little bit of a break. Does swap one McLaren for another though, so plenty of work still to do from him. Oh, Philippa makes contact with Bruno Gallo. That was out of spoon. It's turned him around. We'll just have a quick look.
Yeah, so it looks like it was just through the mid corner.
Yeah.
Just overestimated. Philippa tried to pick the throttle a little bit early, but you still have Bruno Gallo sitting there. So that's unfortunate contact. That's disadvantaged Gallo. And let Clayton through as well. So let's let Hobbs off the hook.
Yeah, he'll be breathing a sigh of relief now. Andrew O'Hara, though, he's 10.5 seconds ahead of Sean Madison, so that's our race leader. And what's happened to Bruno Gallo? He's in the pits. Philippa.
But might be a... Yeah, I'm not sure if that was for damage or whether that's that might actually be a good strategic move to jump into the pits now. Get him out of cycle and you know, let him put some good lap times down, and maybe he can make up some of that gap again relative to Philippa throughout his next bit of the stint. He might come out, you know, good bit of clear track actually. Looking at this, he's still in the pits now, but the next car that he's going to have to contend with is the 176, who is just coming through 130R now, so might stand a chance about getting out into some clean track, depending on how much damage he's got. Eddie O'Hara just going through spoon at the moment, so that'll be the one car that he doesn't want to get overtaken by, if he can avoid it.
Having a look, I saw Adrian Rice. He's been having a nice little scrap with Art Vanderlei. I'll just quickly switch over to him. Here he is in the Bentley, chasing down the Honda. Nicely liveried Honda as well. I like that. That looks really nice. That's old school. So we're almost a third race distance. When are we thinking pit stops, Tom? Sort of usually it's that sort of 25-minute mark of into the race. Usually when we see them, are we thinking the same tonight?
Yeah, I'm thinking probably an even tyre strategy is the best bet, but with the fact that we had some weather before, might be more inclined to hang it out until a little bit later in the race. Just in case, so once you can see what 30 minutes is going to give. So we might see more stops in around that 35-minute mark into the race, so 25 minutes to go might be a little bit more. So a couple of, 10, 15 minutes later, just so you've got some confidence in the forecast and you can try and reduce the chances of having to take a second pit stop.
Well, the air temperature hasn't changed. It's still 30 degrees. Doesn't look like there's any weather on the forecast right now as we speak. Track temperature 35, 30 degrees is the air temperature. And Patrick Oliver having a nice look there at James Pierre-Reid. Oh, they make a bit of contact. It's able to keep it facing the right way there. Pierre-Reid, just a little bit of contact there at the hairpin. We'll see if we can have another look at that. Oh, I think he might have just lost the back end there. Yeah.
There's some contact with Basato and Wall too. They're dropping down through the field, so...
See if anything happened there. Oh no, they've got action at the hairpin as well. That's Hemi Bateman. I think that was Latenzio coming through too, so... It's all happening there.
That might be in relation to what happened with Pierre-Reid and people checking up, so...
Back to this little scrap here. Might step away momentarily because it looks like Filippo, this is where she's been really strong through the centre S's. She's got Rowdy Clayton in front of her.
It's the strength of the McLaren is its aero performance. But it's one of those sections where knowing what you're doing is very important. But Clayton's going to reckon him up on the outside. Clayton's going to take the position.
Ooh.
It's going to disadvantage Hobbs, who has to run into the dirt. And Philippa comes through on him. So I wonder if Hobbsy just didn't get quite as good an exit out of the last end of those.
We'll have a quick.
Out of the Esters.
Let's have a quick look. I'll see if I can pick it up. No, I picked it up too late. My apologies for that, everyone. So we'll just watch the end result of that. I do apologise. Philippa closing up there on Rowdy. And they're still as we left them. So Philippa giving chase to Rowdy. This is one of the closest battles here. James Pierre-Reid and Art Vanderlei, they're still going at it too. So we'll try and just switch between those two. We'll see if Philippa can make a move though this time around again up through the centre S's. She can get a good run out of turn one. Hard to pass through there though. Not much passing opportunity. I don't think the BMW is as nimble.
Actually works in the BMW's favour is that it can take some curbs a lot better than the McLaren can a lot of the time. So his run through Degner and his run even through the Casio Triangle is quite impressive. She's got a lot of benefit.
Gee, she attacks that curb at that Degner one, doesn't she?
Seems to have got the run. So I don't think it's going to be enough to look up the inside here. No, she just tucks back in behind. She's very strong on corner exit normally. Just gets a little bit compromised that time by. Looking for a move through spoon, I think.
Not this time around. See if she can get a little bit of a toe here. Ooh, Rowdy just got a little bit on the dirt there on entry. Using all of the curb through there. I think Aaron Dennis might have had an incident. We'll just stay with this for a moment.
it was. Aaron Dennis has disappeared. So it doesn't look like he's gone back to pits. So the car round up ahead of this battle here. 141 is wide and off track. Who's the 141? I think I have 141.
So it's been an enthralling battle between Rowdy Clayton and Bakita here. Mitch Hobbs, it's his turn now just to bide his time. Andrew O'Hara now, 13-second gap between him and Sean Madison. Might just flick across shortly. I think Susanna and Dominiak going at it as well. Don't want to step away from this one for too long because I feel like something's about to give. We'll have a quick look at these guys. We're watching them earlier on. And nice little pack down here. We'll get back to that battle at the front of the pack shortly. As we're not too far away from halfway mark of this one. And looks like we've got a stop happening. So Philippa Bakita, she's decided to take the plunge.
Probably recognising that if you look at the weather forecast, she's not going to lose too much out from stopping now. There's a bit of rain at the end. I don't think the track will get wet quick enough. So probably a smart call.
So it just hits the marks, okay. Yep, beautiful. Alright, so that frees up Mitch Hobbs and Rowdy Clayton a little bit for now. Gives them a bit of a reprieve. Oh, we've got action. Oh no, they're in the pit, sorry, my mistake. I saw them dropping down the time there, but they're in the pits. I want to have a quick look though at James Pierre Reid. Oh, as I do, a little bit of a hip and shoulder there. We'll see what happens.
Might have been a return to serve from the last bit of contact. Oh no.
Yeah.
Paddy's just run off track. And
then, oh, bang.
Yeah, I think you might have just started to lose the rear a little bit. One of the disadvantages of running the Audi is that that's possible. Pips here has popped out in behind James Mack, so she'll have a little bit of a battle on her hands to get past and to make sure this outlap and that she can make some benefit now with a little bit of clean air. Of course, the AM drivers aren't really on pace with her, so it won't be as much of a disadvantage. Yep, between P1 and P2 is out at 13 seconds now. So I don't think we can put that down to Andy being massively faster than Sean, because we saw it at Snetterton that they were in and abouts quicker, very quick themselves, and we're in and abouts the same pace. So I think that's more down to car strength around here. Honda hasn't been as loved by Kunos, I would say, even though we got an updated physics model and updated it to an Evo 2 to the next Evo spec with the Challengers Pack DLC at the start of the season, the start of the year. I don't think that that quite covered off a lot of the disadvantages that their Honda already had. So we'll be hoping that gets resolved somewhat soon to bring it up with a bit better of a BOP, especially around here. It's one of those tracks that you'd expect that Honda would invest a lot of time and effort into making a car that's quick around here.
I was,
in their home circuit.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
But yeah, it just goes to show how versatile the BMW is. It's not nowhere near as broken as what it was on release the back end of last year, but it certainly is certainly very versatile at most tracks. The Audi is shown to be a very good choice for a lot of people. And the McLaren is still one of those very strong cars as well. Then you've got some of the less used cars now, like the Bentley and the Nissan especially. The Nissan isn't used as much throughout the field these days. Obviously we've got the Parsons in them in our PC league. Mercedes, yeah, is very versatile. The Bentley, not used as much, same as the Lambo. Which is interesting because the Lambo can still be a very, very quick car at most tracks that you go to, and the Porsche isn't a beginner's car, I would say.
No.
With the engine in the rear, it makes it a little bit more interesting. See Mercedes on Audi here, battle into the Casio triangle. But nothing really going there. I'm going to see one of these cars pits. No, neither of them do. Around another lap.
It's interesting to say that the Bentley's not a very popular choice. It's quite popular in console land. So I guess that's one of the surprises that I had, that so few of the Bentleys and more of the McLarens, Audis, a lot more popular weapon of choice rather than the Bentley. So, and the BMW, of course.
I think one of the big things is that because Kunos don't have the same dev team working on the PC and the console version, the ability to have, as we see, Rowdy and here's Philippa right on the backside. She's got the warmer tyres. She's going to try and make this move stick as quickly as she can. Needs to make the move nice and early here. The longer this goes on, the more likely that Rowdy's tyres will come up to temp and pressure. So pressure's on Philippa here to make this move and make it quick.
This is where she's been strongest as well, this sector 1 of the circuit. Just attacks that curb at Degner 1. So Rowdy, definitely no slouch. We saw last week move his way from last into podium contention. He scored himself a track limits penalty though, so that ended that charge. Certainly in contention tonight. Making their way through Spoon. We've seen a little bit of action already through there tonight, but nice and smooth that time around. We have gone over the halfway mark as well.
Yeah, so Andy O'Hara's in the pits now. But he's moving again. So he will certainly cover off to Sean Madison, basically the length of the front straight. There's no one else really. There's a challenger to Andy or even to Sean at this stage. These cars here, this will be effective P3, this is the battle.
Philippa tucked in right under that rear wing of the BMW. This has been a great battle between her and Rowdy. This has been fun to watch. Yeah, Rowdy doing a good job to keep her behind, but for how long can he keep this up? Doing a great job so far. So Rowdy looks like he's done well to get the tyres back up to pressure and temperature and keep Philippa behind him for now. So nice work from him. Pit stops have all started to filter through. Andy O'Hara, he's already made his stop. So Adrian Rice and Jonathan Mustafto, they're both in P1, P2. O'Hara in third. Peter Wall there in fourth spot. Sean Madison in fifth. And you've got these two, Rowdy Clayton and Philippa Bakita in P7. Eighth is Mitch Hobbs. Ninth is Matt Frost. And 10th is Paul Russell. Drivers are yet to make a stop in the top 20. That's Case Parsons, Peter Wall and Jonathan Mustafto. They get that off the list now. So to just leave Adrian Rice to make his stop. In the meantime, we're still watching Rowdy Clayton and Philippa Bakita going at it. Rowdy Clayton's done a good job to keep that McLaren behind him. And yeah, Philippa right over the back of him. So they're going to have to fight it out for another 24 minutes. Fair to say that the first 36 minutes has certainly flown by for me. I'm not too sure about you, Tom, but we've had some really good action tonight.
Yeah, it has flown through. It's been a really good battle up the front. We haven't really looked too much at what's happening behind, but a lot of the gaps now, there's not too many super close battles going on. The 69 just then who spun around at the last sector, but they seem to have disappeared, so maybe they had had enough. There we've got a bit of a battle going on with J-Mac, Wheezy and Sasana. Three classes battling it out for P20 at the moment. All of them have stopped, so Wheezy will be hoping to get back up in that top 15 so he can get good solid haul of points. I think that might be his reasonable aim, to be back up there.
Yeah, try
with J-Mac being 21 seconds off the pace, I think it might be more of a battle of, well, can I get J-Mac and maybe challenge my way further forward? So have to wait and see as that plays out.
They're just making their way through the S's into Dunlop, so that Porsche looking a little bit worse for wear tonight. Not in the best condition. Obviously sacrifice a little bit of pit time to minimise the repairs. Credit to him for sticking around though, for battling it out to the end. Always unfortunate when you suffer heavy damage early on. And there he goes, he gets the job done past James Mack in that McLaren. So he moves his way up into P19. So the recovery continues for Mitchell Weston. Have a look a little bit further up the field. Art Vanderlei and James Pierre Reid, they've been stuck together the entire race just about. Someone else who's been stuck together the entire race as well is the McLaren of Philippa. So they've got a little bit of traffic here to contend with. That Bentley gets out of the way nicely. Geez, that's not a scrap that you want to get in front of, is it?
Definitely not.
So Angie O'Hara still in P2. So Adrian Rice still yet to pit. He's currently our race leader. But yeah, he needs to make that stop. So he will relinquish that spot once he does. And there he goes. He's in. Just having a look at times there between these two. So not much separating as she takes plenty of the curb there at the chicane. See if she can get a little bit of a run here. Got one of the Parsons brothers in the GTR there just up ahead. And still, this battle continues. Have a quick look at the position deltas after the majority of the pit stops have been made. Oh, was that GTR just doing his best to get out of the way? Parsons, he does. And they continue on. So Sean Madison up 3 spots in there in P2. Rowdy Clayton up 1 spot. Just a little bit of a scan down. Nando Latanzio up 17 spots. So currently sits in 15th position.
Very solid haul for Fernando there.
Yeah, Jonathan Masafta, he's dropped down 4 spots. Bruno Gallo, he's dropped down 5 as well. So just a bit of an update there on who's where. As the battle between Clayton and Bakita continues. Just can't seem to find a way past, can she? Rowdy's doing a great job keeping that McLaren behind him.
Yeah, Rowdy's done a great job here. I do suspect that Philippa might be just sitting in behind, just waiting, just putting the pressure on, waiting for a mistake. But Rowdy's doing very good at not making them at the moment. But I have to be careful that if they start battling, that Hobbsy doesn't get too much closer. So he's only 3.3 seconds or so in behind. And I think Rowdy would much rather have a 2-car battle rather than a 3-car battle. Philippa won't matter too much too, but no, they'll certainly be hoping for some better, some more even battles as we go on throughout the race tonight.
Well, speaking of battles down there, yeah, Vanderlei and Pierre Reid, they're still going at it right now. Rowdy just right in the curves there at Dignal 1. So made their way through the hairpin. So coming up to the final quarter hour, air temperature still 30 degrees, track temperature 34. Doesn't look like there's any rain on the forecast for now. The wind has been kind of all over the place tonight, so I don't know how much weight we'll give that. But Andy O'Hara, we've barely seen him. He is a mile out in front of Sean Madison, so he's over 17 seconds is the gap between first and second right now. These 2 cars there, 5 seconds behind Madison. And then you got Hobbs, just we see there, just in the background, just lurking. 4 seconds off this pair. And once again, I'll start another lap. I reckon you're probably spot on the money here, Tom. Philippa just biding her time for now. Runs a little bit wide there, out of turn 1. It's given Rowdy a little bit of breathing room, but that reprieve won't last long, you would think. Again, under the bridge. We might just have a quick look here, see how these two are getting on. This is Vanderlei and Pierre Reid. So they're in 8th and 9th. James Pierre Reid, he's found himself in a couple of little scrapes this evening. He seems to have found his groove though, so he's trundling along nicely. Got Paul Russell just up ahead of them and Patrick Oliver just behind, so these two have say they'd probably be enjoying themselves right now, lapping Suzuka. Still the two closest cars on the track right now is still Clayton and Bakita. It looks like she's just dropped back just ever so slightly. Let's see what Vanderlei can do here with Pierre Reid. Oh, he got a little bit loose there through the 130R. Manages to hang on to it though, so might have another look at that from another angle. Just caught the very last moments of it, so wasn't enough to give Vanderlei a chance through the chicane, so they'll continue on. Get to Bakita and Clayton again though, because that gap has closed once again. Through the Degners, named after Ernest Degner. Suzuki rider, look at this, Bakita having a little smidgen of, not too sure if that was Clayton on his own there or not.
Pips isn't happy, she's flashing her lights. Probably more out of frustration more than anything. Wants to get past, she wants to get past now.
So doesn't have much longer left. 13 minutes remaining in this one. This is for the final podium spot. Right now it's Andy O'Hara. He's a mile out in front. Nearly 19 seconds. It is 19 seconds at the moment. And Sean Madison in P2. He's 5 seconds up the road from this pair. They've been going at it for a fair while now. And yeah, perhaps that frustration is starting to build. But yeah, Rowdy's done a great job to keep Bakita behind him. So can he do it for another just under 12 and a half minutes? We'll have to wait and see. Vanderlei and Pierre Reid, they continue to tussle it out. Still no progress made. This is, she had a little go on the last lap. Not this time around though. Oh, Sean Madison, what is going on here? He's going the wrong way. I just saw the yellow come up. Let's have a quick look and see what happened. Oh, no, he's turned it around by himself at the hairpin. There's Parsons, he takes evasive action. There's Clayton and Bakita coming through. So he was just cruising in P2. He was 5 seconds up the road. Looks like Mitch Hobbs was able to get through too. So disaster for Sean Madison with the 10-minute mark looming. He has turned it around by himself. Perhaps a little break in concentration. Lucky Clayton and Bakita didn't get caught up in that, but he's dropped out of podium contention into P5 now. And with just over 10 and a half minutes left, that might be his chances gone. Oh, it's Parsons running off the road. Oh no, the McLaren spinning in front of him. So this has been a horrible lap for Sean Madison. It has been all happening in front of him, and he's managed to come out in P5 at the end of it. So from podium position into P5. Disaster.
I'm not going to just go from bad to worse, but we had Clayton there who looked like he was a little bit taily coming through the left-hander there. Philippa's there on the inside. Rowdy's tyres might just be a little bit too hot now. Philippa's right there. Looks for the move up the inside of Thegna 2. Oh, they both run wide. They're both off the track. Philippa manages to hold on. That was an aggressive move there. Manages to take P2 in this race. Rowdy won't give it up as quick and easy though.
We'll have a quick look. No, sorry, I missed it. My apologies. Sorry. That was right at the tail end of it. So we'll go back to live in a moment. But this race has come alive in the final 10 minutes. We've got a new podium. Sean Madison finds himself in P5 after spinning at the hairpin by himself. He was cruising in P3. And that's been snatched away from him. So now it's Rowdy's turn. Philippa finally has some clear air, probably for the first time in this race tonight. And we'll see if she can slowly creep away from Rowdy, or does he have another go in him? He's got 8 minutes to work it out. Wonder if something's happened there with Vanderlei and Pierre Reid. Vanderlei's close right up behind the Lamborghini now. These two have been tied together for the majority of the race. There's one of the Parsons brothers in the GTR just pulling off to the side. Not too sure if he's had an incident there. It looks like there's damage to the front bonnet. And Patrick Oliver has just entered himself into this scrap here too. So he's just latched himself onto the back of this pair. Get back to Rowdy Clayton versus Philippa Bakita. So not able to make a move there at the hairpin. Thought he might have had a look there down the inside spoon, but nothing doing there. 7 minutes left. Andy O'Hara is nearly half a minute ahead of these two. As the Ferrari looks like it gets out of the way nicely. This is the podium here, second and third. I don't think Rowdy's going to give this up without a fight. So they come down the front straight. Ducking and diving. Oh, they make a little bit of contact there. And Rowdy's gotten through. I think he has. Oh, Philippa almost loses it. Out of turn one. We'll see what happened there. Look at that. A little bit of Rubbins racing. No one wanted to give an inch there. Neither driver was willing to give it up. And at the end there, Philippa so lucky to keep it facing the right way there. And Rowdy has retaken that spot from Bakita. So back in P2. Less than 6 minutes left in this one. Oh, Philippa just very aggressive there out of Degna 2. Might be one for the trusted drivers advisory panel to have a look at, perhaps. Someone in the comments there, rather robust racing. That would be an eloquent way to put it, that's for sure. We're in the final 5 minutes of this one, round 6 of Race on Oz PC League. It's been the Clayton and Bakita show, to be fair. They've been in the action for most of the race. Pierre Reid and Art Vanderlei, they still continue to fight it out. They come out of Spoon, the Honda giving chase to the Lamborghini as they come down the back straight now. Patrick Oliver doesn't look like he's able to make much ground on these two, so it might just be these two by themselves who will scrap it out to the end, see if that Honda can get past the Lamborghini on its home circuit. In the meantime, Philippa is going to give chase again through the center S's. Less than 4 minutes remaining now. Time is ticking out. It's running out for her to see if she can get a P2 here. Andy O'Hara, he's 30 seconds up the road from these two. A little bit of traffic up ahead now. But yeah, been an awesome duel from these two tonight. Makes a little bit of contact. Rowdy goes around. That's out of Spoon. Let's have a look again how that developed. Just lunging up the inside. Hits his back corner paddle a couple of times. Turns him back around, and that's all she wrote on that one. So Bakita now in P2. 2.5 minutes remaining. There's the fluoro yellow and black BMW Rowdy Clayton. Not too sure if I've lost Tom or not.
I'm here.
Yeah, sorry, Tom.
Absolutely enthralled by this battle. That was an interesting move. I'm not sure it'll stick with the drivers panel, but that's not for me to judge.
No.
But yeah, look, it had been hitting a flashpoint this entire race, so it was bound to happen. And I think Philippa just realised that that was the chance to make the move stick. So as she went for it, she made it, and unfortunately hasn't come off quite as well for Rowdy. But stellar drive again by Rowdy. Was able to hold off Philippa until then. So after his recovery last week up to almost a podium result, he deserves a result like that. Look back now at Art Vanderlei and James Pierre Reid still going at it.
Yeah, these two have had a enthralling battle. Obviously, yeah, the majority of the time has been up front, but these two guys have been going at it for probably well over half the race tonight. I think this is one where you walk away just satisfied that you've been able to have a great duel. That's what it's about for a lot of people as well. Not necessarily the winning and the losing, but having good scraps there. Is just getting a little bit tail happy there out of Degner 1 from Pierre Reid. So we're into the final minute of this one. Just trying to pick up Andy O'Hara and make sure we cover him when he crosses. And there's the signal. So it is the final lap, or begun the final lap if you like. So these two will have one more lap to go at it. See if that Honda can move himself ahead of that red and white Lamborghini belonging to James Pierre Reid. P8 and P9 for these two. So top 10 finish, nothing to sneeze at.
On the final lap now, Andy O'Hara's got a 34.3 second lead over Philippa. Sean Madison is right up behind Hobbsy though, so that looks like it's going to be one of the closest battles, as well as this battle that we're watching at the moment between James Pierre-Reid and Art Vanderlei. Back down the pack. Oh, and Sean just runs the wheel off into the dirt. Lose a little bit of the time that he was gaining there.
So Andy O'Hara just approaching Spoon Curve now. So we'll haven't seen too much of him tonight. He's been out in front the entire time. He got the jump on the pack from the get-go, and then it's just been, he just disappeared off into the distance from everyone else. So he's been a class above. He wasn't here last week, but he certainly made up for it. He's just going to follow that Nissan through the 130R one final time tonight, and he is going to be victorious in round 6 of the Race on Oz PC League, coming through Casio Square one final time. Makes his way past the GTR, and congrats to Andy O'Hara, who takes out victory at Suzuka. Congratulations to him. Superb drive, dominating. Great work by him. Here's Philippa Bakita. She's in P2. She had a great scrap for a big part of this race with Rowdy Clayton. She's come out on top though, so she's going to take home second. Just having a look at Hobbs and Madison there. They're going to fight it out all the way to the very, very end here. They got Rowdy Clayton there. He's going to take out the final podium spot. And looks like Mitch Hobbs is going to get the better of Sean Madison. So he's going to take out 4th. Mitch Hobbs, 5th is Sean Madison. Matt Frost will be coming past soon as Rowdy Clayton pulls up. So he'd be feeling pretty tired right now after that scrap with Bakita for the majority of this one. Here's Matt Frost in 6th, and Paul Russell. Didn't see too much of Russell tonight, but he's going to come home in a well-deserved 7th. And Pierre-Reid is going to be able to hang on, so he'll stay ahead of Vanderlei for P8th, Vanderlei P9th, and Bruno Gallo in P10. But it was that man tonight in the BMW, Andy O'Hara. Pretty much a lights to flag victory. He wasn't really there was no really contention from anyone behind from the get-go tonight, Tom.
No, I'm just watching the back end of the field come through here. We've got Dominiak, Sanzio and Masafto, who are all nice and close together, but it will be Nando, who comes from the back of the field, 32nd position, all the way up to P15. That's a massive result there. Dominiak comes home in 16, Masafto 17, and we're just waiting on Wall, I think, to finish up. But that'll do us. That is the end of the race this evening. It all comes home P18. But yeah, Andy O'Hara was basically untouchable tonight. As soon as he got that gap over Sean Madison at the start, it was basically lights out.
Yep.
Mitch Hobbs managed to come through for second place early on in the race, and was just pushing himself really hard to try and stay in front of Philippa when that happened. And after that, it was basically a battle between Rowdy and Philippa to take the win of the race. To take P2, and Philippa, the battle reached a flashpoint, and Philippa managed to come out on top. But that was a pretty engaging race throughout the whole of the race there. We had 29 cars that finished, I believe.
Yep. Mitchell Weston ended up getting 19th there as well, so he did finish in the top 20, but 29 finishes. That was round 6 of season 2. Next week we're off to Spa, so for round 7 of Race on Oz season 2 PC League. But as far as tonight goes, I was pretty entertained. That 60 minutes went by pretty quick, and we had some great racing there from Clayton and Bikita as well. Andy O'Hara was certainly class above. And that was a nice little scrap between James Pierre-Reid and Art Vanderlei as well. I thought that was entertaining too. So I hope you all found it entertaining as well. We're going to be back next week and we'll do it all over again. We'll get the stream on at the right time as well next week. Fingers crossed. So almost got it right this week, but next week hopefully it's 100%. So thank you once again, Tom. Absolute pleasure.
Green light.
Yeah, absolute. That was good fun. I'll see you next week.
And
I'll see you chat next week as well.
Cool.